Ladies and gentlemen, this is your Money in the Bank preview show. I am the OG Fig Kid, Thomas Montato.
And it is now time to turn your attention to Anthony of the Titantron at your service. The duo's here again to talk about Money in the Bank. How are you doing, my man?
I'm doing awesome. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. I'm very excited to talk about this show with you.
I'm very excited as well. Very excited that the fans are back. Very excited that we're getting a pay-per-view with the fans, right away. So,
Absolutely.
let's jump right into it. So the first match we're going to talk about is on a kickoff show. We're going to have Dominic and Rey Mysterio facing the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. What are your thoughts on this match?
I like that we're doing this match because, we've been hyping it up. You might as well, not do it on a random SmackDown like they usually would. It's good that they put this on at least the kickoff show. And it's actually good that the Usos are on the kickoff show because their history. They've had banger matches on the kickoff show. I always think of that match with the Shield. Really great match. So to see them in another title match, looking forward to it. As far as a winner, I will jump right into it, I guess. I kind of see, Dominic and Rey pulling it out. It's both who I want and who I think will win. Just because I feel like they'll stretch it out a little bit. I think this is one of their first times going at it for the titles, so I think they would let it go on a little bit longer than just stop it here. And you might as well. It's a good program, the Mysterios versus the Usos. So I think they'll find a way to pull out the win. And then where we go from there, probably SummerSlam is where you get the Usos to win those titles. What are you feeling?
I mean, I'm kind of shocked that this is on a kickoff show. The fact that it's on a kickoff show kind of makes me think that it's going to be Dominic and Rey just retaining. Although, I mean, you do never know. I personally think, and who I want, I think that it should have been the Usos because I think it would be nice to build up the family over there. Have them bring in more gold there, make the family seem even stronger. But I'm just shocked it's on a kickoff show. So I honestly think it's going to be Rey and Dominic because of that. I thought all the rumors of them, Dominic turning on Rey. I guess that doesn't look like it's going to happen right now. I thought there was rumors.
I honestly never wanted to see them turn on each other. I feel like that's weird. Like Dominic turning on Rey. I'm not really into that.
I'm not really sure, like father, son turning on it, the son turning on his father. It's nothing we really need to see. Brother versus brother is one thing or whatever, brother-in-law. But yeah, I don't really feel we need to see that. I'm hoping it'll be a good match. I think it'll be a good match.
Absolutely.
I wonder if there's a little hesitation putting the titles on the Usos with all Jimmy's problems, if he's going to go get some help or not or whatever. Hopefully he whatever. We're not here to talk about that this time.
Yeah.
We've talked about that. We just want him to get better and not risk himself or anybody else's life. But so I'm gonna go with Dominic and Rey. That's who I think is gonna win. But we'll move on. Let's go right to I got the card right here. Let's move up the list here and see who we think is gonna be next. Let's go Ripley versus Flair. Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair.
Nice. Let's get it out of the way. Let's get this match over with.
Oh man, what do you think?
Oh my goodness. Who cares? Like it sucks to say who cares about a WrestleMania rematch and a good match at that at WrestleMania 36. Probably one of the better in-ring matches, I should say, on that show. But you really got to make it heel versus heel when you have Rhea Ripley, who is just this badass rebel face character that obviously the fans are going to cheer. I've been saying from the start, all you needed to do was just have Rhea do what she's doing, take Flair's moves, all the cheating, whatever, but still present her as a face. Not pipe in the boos, not have, Byron Saxton be like, oh, this is despicable behavior from Rhea Ripley. No, you have Byron Saxton be like, oh, I like this. It's kind of even match. Still present her as that face. You don't need two heels because obviously Charlotte is the heel. Everyone's going to boo Charlotte. It's Charlotte Flair we're talking about. I just can't believe I'm not invested in this match. I mean, are you looking forward to this match at all? What are you thinking?
I mean, I haven't hated their program. I've kind of enjoyed them going at it. I think it'll be nice to have fans back so we get an organic feel of them cheering for Rhea. I
Right.
don't think the fans are ever going to cheer for Charlotte again. I don't know why, but I mean, if they feel like I do about her, I'd never cheer for her. I'm not taking away from her in-ring work. It's incredible. But just hearing her talk just bores the hell out of me. And I don't know if it's the character, the way it's written. If it's her, I mean, I've heard great things from people who've met her before. And so I personally think it's going to, I mean, I want Rhea Ripley to win, but I mean, I don't know. I honestly can't say what I think is going to happen. I want Rhea Ripley to win. Maybe I'm just fearful that I think it's going to be Charlotte.
Right.
And it's going to be another Charlotte run.
I'm going with Rhea as who I want. I'm also going with Rhea with who I think because of just for the reason that I think there's more possibilities for Rhea looking at SummerSlam. Rhea versus Becky, Rhea versus anyone really that the fans would get invested in. Albeit they'll probably make it a triple threat with Charlotte anyway. So what am I talking about? But
no.
I like Rhea as champion. I feel like the WWE must like Rhea as champion. She just has that look to her that it's like, something different in the women's division. I'll go with Rhea because I'm just fingers crossed, kind of hoping that it's going to be her. There's no reason to put the title on Charlotte unless they want to do Charlotte. I keep saying Becky as if, she's confirmed that she's going to be back or whatever, but, there's no real other challenger on Raw at this point. So, unless they want to go with Rhea versus, Becky versus Charlotte, I don't know if we would want to see that again. But I'll go with Rhea just because I'm praying for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and you kind of took the words out of my mouth. Let's just get to Monday so we could see Becky return. So,
I know.
That's how I feel about that one. Okay, so let's move on. So we got AJ Styles and Omos versus the Viking Raiders.
I was hoping that they were just going to do this match on Raw because it's another one of those just it is what it is. They're really just doing what they can to not make Omos as special as they can make him. I thought he was going to be more of a special attraction, like every now and then we'll see an Omos match, but we're just getting singles matches on Raw. I mean, I don't know. As far as winner goes, they probably got to keep it on Styles and Omos, especially if we're going with the Riddle and Orton going forward. You're going to need a heel team to go up against. The sooner we can get AJ Styles, one of the best wrestlers in the world, out of this kind of weird situation where he's the weak link of the team, as if they're presenting him in that way, the faster we can get him out of there, the better we'll be. And I just don't see the Viking Raiders kind of being champions right now. I said that if it was on Raw, then maybe they would give it to the Viking Raiders because kind of like what we saw on SmackDown, how they wanted a championship match there. They would probably want a championship win over on Raw. But now that it's on Money in the Bank, it kind of just gets lost in the shuffle with everything else. So I think and I want AJ and Omos to win. I want them to win because I do want to see Rated RK Bro go ahead and win at SummerSlam. What are you thinking?
I mean, I love Rated RK Bro too. They're just hysterical. It's one of my favorite things on Raw right now. But I really love the matches this week on Raw with the Viking Raiders, the one solo single matches, and you got to see them work some physical style, which is we know they could do from NXT. They don't really get to do it as much on the main roster. Yep. They've been tamed back a little bit. I think it's time to end AJ and on Omos. I'm going to go with Viking Raiders. I think they're going to put the belts on them. I think with RK Bro, because Orton's still kind of the heel and Riddle's kind of the face, they could still face the Viking Raiders and get the win.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so I don't think it hurts them. So I'm going both. I think who I want and what I think will happen is the Viking Raiders both ways. And I'm looking forward to see what happens after that. But let the Viking Raiders work because they're friggin' physical in the ring and they're entertaining.
I forget that they're as good as they are. You look back at their matches in NXT. The Ricochet and Aleister Black match. What happened? You know what I mean? Yeah. They got to start presenting these guys ever since that whole Street Profits Viking Raiders thing happened with all of the anything you can do, I can do better. That was just that really killed them.
I forgot about that, and I'm now mad at you. You reminded me.
Well,
I'm just kidding. But yeah, in all seriousness, let's give it to the Viking Raiders. Let's move on from this AJ Styles storyline with Omos. It's time to just move on. Let Omos go somewhere else. I just don't find him entertaining. I don't think WWE knows how to book the big guy anymore.
They'll never figure it out. They will never figure it out.
It's a shame. They did it back with Andre the Giant years ago, and it was done right then. Just go watch some of your videos.
Yeah.
But okay, so let's move on. Should we do what should we do first? Should we do the title matches and do Edge versus Roman?
Yeah, let's get that out of the way.
All right, so we got Edge getting his one-on-one match with Roman Reigns. Okay, we all know what's going to happen. There's no way Edge is winning this match. We know Roman's going to win. It's not time for his title reign to end. I would love to see Edge get another shot at holding it. So do I want Edge to win? Yeah, I do. It's not happening. Let's be realistic. What do you think?
I'm the same way. I want Edge to win because, the selfish fan in me wants to see Edge versus John Cena at SummerSlam for a title one more time. Definitely an upgrade from seeing John Cena versus Randy Orton again for a millionth time. But I would much rather see Edge versus John Cena if we're talking about rematches. But it's got to be Roman. There's no other way around it. Seth is going to get involved because it looks like the plan is going to be Seth versus Edge for SummerSlam.
Yeah, which that excites me.
Yeah, that definitely excites me. Honestly, anything with Edge at this point and Roman and, Seth, whoever, it's all exciting. I love what they're doing with Edge. I think they're doing a lot to build up to this Edge versus Roman match to the point where I'm genuinely looking forward to seeing this match. We didn't have it at WrestleMania. Kind of wish that we did, albeit the match was very good regardless. But now that we're getting it at Money in the Bank, it's going to be a pretty good match, and I'm going to look forward to especially the stuff that happens after the match, whatever it may be, however we get to Roman versus Cena and Edge versus Rollins. It looks set in stone at this point. So yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for Edge, but let's be real here. The Tribal Chief is going to retain his title.
Yeah, I mean, unless there's a Money in the Bank cash in, and I don't know if they could cash in on Edge in that match. I guess they could make it a triple threat, and you kind of save Roman that way. But yeah, I don't really want to see Cena come in and be fed to Roman. He already beat Cena, so I don't even understand what the purpose of doing that again is.
I always forget that they went up against each other, and we want to know why is because it was at Battleground and it wasn't at a actual pay-per-view where I should care. I'm only really looking forward to it for just part 2 of those promos. I don't know if you remember the promos on Raw. They were just, especially now that Roman actually knows how to talk, it's going to be definitely interesting to see them going at each other.
With this version of Roman, it would be good. But again, he already beat him. I just don't understand if he's going to be fed to him.
Right.
And then, we're already seeing Cena's going to be gone making another movie as soon as SummerSlam's over. Yeah. Supposedly, even the match was almost, they were questioning if the match was even going to happen.
Yeah, for a little I was nervous. I mean, I want to see it, but everything with the movie to just Roman in general, there's no way that Cena could win. So if only you could build up someone for Roman, but I guess we got to bring in the part-timers.
Yeah, I guess they were saying, they made it sound at first like Cena was going to come back for a little run. I thought it was going to be an extended period, but now it's, I was hoping maybe now through WrestleMania, that would have been awesome to get him for, maybe 6 months and then he retires at WrestleMania. Let him do a tour, go to city to see the people.
Right.
But who knows, maybe he's not even ready to even close to retiring, and maybe that will happen down the road. So yeah, what will happen is Roman. Who I want is Edge. So let's move on to Kofi versus Lashley. What are your predictions here?
I am a big Kofi Kingston fan. I've been a Kofi fan since 2009. He was on the first show that I watched. It was a Monday Night Raw in Madison Square Garden. It was actually the show where he did the leg drop to Orton, that big moment in the Garden. It was a great moment, one I'll never forget. I met Kofi Kingston in 2013, had a brief word with him. It was an exciting time. God bless Kofi Kingston, however, because he is going to lose to Bobby Lashley in dominant fashion. The way that I say that is because you look at that promo on Raw where he just tells all the ladies to get out of the ring. He just tells MVP to cut the BS. This is Bobby Lashley, back to business, I guess you can call him. And, I was talking about it. I was on the Clark Street podcast with Circle of Debate and Top Rope. And we were all just in agreement that this match it's going to be definitely Lashley in pretty convincing fashion. I will see. I kind of didn't agree with them because they thought it was like under 10 minutes. I was like, let's hold our brakes here a little bit. I think we'll get somewhat of a competitive match, maybe around 15 minutes. But I think Lashley's he's just in a spot where you have to make him look strong going into SummerSlam. If he's your WWE champion, you need to do something to make him look strong, and who else to put him up against than Kofi Kingston. So I'll give it to Lashley, although, like I've said, big Kofi Kingston fan, so I would love to see Kofi Mania Part 2, but I'll go with Lashley as that's what my head is telling me to go with.
So what I want to happen is I'm ready for the breakup of Kofi and Xavier. So I was hoping, we see Xavier beat Lashley this week. I was hoping Xavier winds up costing Kofi the match so he could get the title shot against Lashley. You get the Xavier Woods heel run, which I think he would be amazing at. He'd cut some epic promos saying, I've always been the third guy in New Day. You had your world title run. Big E's over on SmackDown Intercontinental title. And here, maybe Big E even wins the Money in the Bank match. We'll get to that in a minute. But it could make for some very entertaining TV here for a while. But what I think is going to happen is Lashley is going to wind up winning. Even though for a while I was sold on it was going to be the New Day breakup. I'm not seeing that as much as I would love it. So I think it's going to be Lashley. And then, God, I hope we don't see Goldberg on Monday. I'm going to be so pissed if we turn into Monday Night Raw and Goldberg comes.
The second I heard that man's name, I was like, is Brock too expensive nowadays? You don't have a few more million to give him? Like, come on. That's all you could do. Jesus.
No, nobody wants to see Goldberg again.
I'm just happy that the fans are back so that Goldberg can get the proper reaction that we're expecting him to. No one's going to maybe they'll cheer him. Maybe you have some fans that are like, "Oh, it's Goldberg." Nobody's going to cheer him. Why would you even put him in the spot in the first place? You're going to have his son in the front row with his dad getting booed. It's just not a good look for anyone, WWE. Why are we doing this? Don't bring this man out of retirement again. And also, you have to look at it like he's lost his last 2 championship opportunities. Is it going to be 3 times in a row? Are they really going to put Goldberg over Lashley? There's no reason to do this.
And here's the thing. We talk about Edge getting blown up after, a match tonight or whatever, but Goldberg can't work anymore.
No.
He can't work a match longer than 2 or 3 minutes. It's not even entertaining. If he was coming in and entertaining and he could put on a 10 to 15 minute match, he can't even do it. And it's time for him to realize, hey, man, I'm just embarrassing myself. And look in the mirror and, sometimes you just got to hang up the boots. You came back. You had some exciting moments with Brock and whatever, but, you're hanging on too long just for the payday now. We know you don't love wrestling. You've never been the guy who loved wrestling. You were there for the dollar the whole time.
Right.
You made your dollar. Go home, because I said the same thing you did. If he shows up on Raw, I hope he gets booed out of the building. And I feel bad because I don't want to see a guy get booed out of the building in front of his son. It's not a nice, but they need to send a message at this point. We don't want to see him anymore.
You brought up a good point with the Brock Lesnar stuff, because ever since Goldberg's come back, they're trying to do everything they can to just recreate that magic of the first few Goldberg-Brock Lesnar matches when he came back, and nothing's going to do it. You tried with Drew McIntyre. It was a decent attempt, but no one wanted to see it. It was a fine match. If that, it was, I didn't even really remember it. All I remember is there was something with going through the barricade. It's not going to happen with Lashley. You put him up against Kevin Owens. You put him up against The Fiend. There's no reason to do it. Just don't do it.
You had him
me in a match with Bobby Lashley, and I'll give you a better match. Put me and Tom up against Bobby Lashley, and we'll have a better handicap match than Goldberg will have in a one-on-one match.
That's right. That sounds good to me. I mean, But yeah, so I'm going. So this was I want Kofi, but Lashley's going to win. I really wanted the breakup of New Day. So let's move on to the ladder matches. Let's start off with the ladies first. We have Asuka, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Ash, Liv Morgan, Zelina Vega, Natalya, and Tamina. Man, when they announced the first 6, this match was looking really good, and then they added Natalya and Tamina, and it just I don't know. I don't want to.
I was just about to say, it was going up, Zelina Vega, Alexa Bliss, going up, Liv Morgan, and Natalya and Tamina, and it's just downhill. Why even make it a surprise? You had that one entrant going in. It was it could be Becky Lynch. It could be Sasha Banks, Tamina. They knew what they were doing. They knew exactly what they were doing with that, waiting on that. Come on now.
WWE didn't even put any effort into this match because on Raw, to qualify, they had tag team matches. SmackDown, they were just appointed.
Yeah.
What are you doing? The men's match you gave the time it needed, but if I'm a female wrestler there, I wouldn't have been happy with the way they paid so little attention. Then you start putting these females in filler matches up until now instead of having singles matches that you could have just spread out over a few weeks.
All 4 women in the Raw on the Raw side of things lost in an 8-women tag to 4 women who aren't even in the match. Why? What is this? I actually had a prediction before they announced Tamina that, if they were going to capitalize on this somehow with, kind of including her, she was doing some stuff with Alexa. She was in the match, the 8-women match. What if you just have Sonya Deville come out with the microphone about to announce the 8th woman? And you're going to hate me for this, but Eva Marie and Doudrop walk out. Doudrop goes to the ring, knocks out everyone. Eva Marie climbs up the ladder and just unhooks the briefcase. I honestly would have rather seen that than Tamina and Natalya. But be it, I couldn't even tell you who I would pick in this match at this point after this whole Tamina and Natalya thing. It just makes it so I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, who I want is Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
Who I think, looking at it, I think it's going to be Alexa Bliss. I wouldn't mind seeing Zelina Vega either. So, I mean, she could work. We know she's a great
going under the radar a little bit. They don't really talk about her that she could be one of these candidates to win. I would love to see Zelina Vega. I think she's the one that I would want to see. As far as who I think is going to win, it's probably going to be Alexa. They've been booking her the best out of all of these women. Although, they kind of had the brawl on SmackDown, which kind of gets me thinking what if they pull one of those, Tamina can't compete because she was thrown into the steel steps or whatever, and they leave the surprise up until Money in the Bank. That could be something, but I don't think that'll happen, and I'm not going to bank on it. Pun intended. Sasha Banks, see what I did there? So I'll say Alexa Bliss, but I would love to see either Zelina or Liv Morgan win.
Yeah, I like Zelina. I like Liv. I like Alexa Bliss too. People are hating on her right now. Yeah. I don't hate what they're doing because listen, we've had supernatural characters back to Papa Shango, back to Undertaker, Aleister Black, all these guys, and the people just hate on it when it's Alexa Bliss. But I want to see it moved a little bit. I want to see it having a little more meaning.
Yeah. If anything, it's more interesting because you never really see a woman kind of supernatural gimmick, at least none that I could really think of off the top of my head. So it's pretty interesting. And I don't know, maybe it's just because she's directionless right now. They're kind of doing stuff with Nia and Eva. So if they kind of give her the briefcase, maybe it'll give her some more direction. But I think she's probably easily the top candidate as far as who I think would win, just the way that they're booking her.
Yeah, I agree. Barring any surprises, I'm picking. I think it's going to be Alexa. I would love to see Liv. So that's my picks. Let's move on to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Now, this match is exciting. So we got Ricochet, John Morrison, Riddle, Drew McIntyre, Big E, Kevin Owens, Nakamura, and Seth Rollins. Man, do I wish Drew McIntyre wasn't in this match. And it's nothing he did, but if you look at him compared to the other guys in the match, and their styles, he's vastly different from the 7 other guys.
Well, I think you
So
need that in a Money in the Bank, though, because you always have like your Canes in the Money in the Bank, where it kind of just gives that
yeah,
your
you're
Mark
right.
Henrys or whoever, that it gives that kind of dynamic to it. So I don't hate it. I kind of hate it more that it's like another opportunity for Drew. Maybe they'll play into that and they'll kind of lead to a heel turn. That would be kind of interesting. But yeah, I wasn't too hyped about Drew either. I would have rather seen someone who, Jeff Hardy, so I could hear no more words, but
Yeah.
anyone else really.
Well, here the disappointing thing to me for Drew is it's just poor storyline booking, because you had him have the stipulation against Lashley, whereas if he lost, no more title matches.
Mm-hmm.
But now he gets to go fight for another title match. No, it should have been he doesn't get it for now. Maybe he could enter the Rumble at that point, but he shouldn't be in this match right now. He should be held off of being able to compete against Lashley for the title. Wait till somebody else has the title. So that's the guy who I don't want to see win it. I do want to see the guy continue to get his push, though, in front of fans. I feel bad. He had that great Rumble moment, knocking Brock out, and he never got to capitalize that Mania in front of fans. It was kind of shocking he didn't get it at Mania this year. As soon as they announced that was the match on the first match of Night 1 of Mania, I knew he wasn't winning then. I'm like, no, they're not giving him the moment here. So
Right.
I don't know why he's not being given the other moment yet. So it's kind of curious to see. I hope they're not saving it for Sunday night with Money in the Bank to have him win.
It's just not the time. I want to see it, and I want to see it properly built too. It's just not the time. If you're gonna give him a moment, give him an actual match. Don't let him cash in, because if anything, that's gonna make people hate it even more, because it's just like another opportunity for Drew. Here we go again. Build to it a little bit.
I just had a terrible thought. What if Drew wins the Money in the Bank ladder match, and then he goes on and cashes in that night and wins the title?
Oh no, you can't speak that into existence. And even better, what if Goldberg shows up the next night? Now we're really just stirring the pot.
We don't need Drew versus McIntyre Part 2.
We do not need that again. It could happen. It could definitely happen. I feel like that'll, if anything, I just mentioned a heel turn for Drew. That would kind of be the way to do it. You might as well. People are already starting to. I don't really like the whole turning on Drew, because it's not really warranted. It's kind of like Drew's just doing. They're just giving him bad content overall with these new. Oh, I got a little, fucking Scottish folktale that I got to tell you about. There's no reason that he should be doing these. He was perfectly fine before the pandemic and during like the first 3/4 of the pandemic, and then he just like fell off. Like ever since they just kept pushing it and pushing it. So he is my number 8 to win it this Sunday. But who is your number 1? That's who I want to know.
Wow, I'm looking at the list here, and I'm going with the guy who I thought it was going to be for a while, although I don't know how this will work. I think it's going to be Seth Rollins.
Ooh, okay.
I would love. I don't know if Riddle's ready for it yet, as much as I want to see him in that spot. Let's see the RK Bro thing happen, and then it blows up a little bit. So, as much as I would want Riddle, we know it's not going to be Ricochet. We know it's not going to be Morrison, unless they totally shock us. It's not going to be Nakamura. I'm looking. It's not going to be. I mean, Big E possibly. I could see Big E possibly getting the shot at it.
He's my pick, actually.
Big E, yeah, I could definitely see. I mean, it's going to be Seth Rollins or Big E, I think. I mean, that's just looking at the card. I can't imagine it being anybody else. I love Kevin Owens, but he just went through that whole thing with
they've
Roman
that's another
Reigns.
one with like Drew McIntyre. They've just given him like all these matches with Roman that it's to the point where it's like if they give it to Kevin Owens, it's like we've seen this already. If anything, I would what I like about this match is that, and a lot of people are saying it, that this is one of the more stacked Money in the Banks that we've seen in a minute, at least talent-wise,
And surprisingly booked.
Yeah. They've actually done a pretty solid job, even with just the stuff with Morrison and Ricochet. Like that kind of stuff kind of hypes you up, where you want to see Morrison and Ricochet with ladders now. Like I'm looking forward to seeing that. But as far as who I think is going to win, Big E, I think even, they did a little little nod to it on SmackDown with him kind of like, interrupting Paul Heyman. I think that's a little like nudge, like, hey, I'm coming for the big dog himself. So I think they probably want to give it to Big E. Even there's possibilities that he could even go for the WWE title and head on over to Raw. That there's some rumors about that. And I think that's kind of the safe pick. However, who I want to win, because I've been a fan of him for years, John Morrison. Oh my God. Could you imagine if they just like pulled the trigger, threw the grenade, and they just said, let's just give it to John Morrison? You have your Miz TV segments where it's like, the Miz is the one cutting the promos, but like you look over to the side and here's John Morrison. He's really the one you want to worry about because he's got the money in the bank on him. Do I think that they would ever do that in a million, trillion, gazillion years? No, they would never do that, it sucks. But God, I would love to see that. I
would love it. I mean, Morrison, he's been underused since he came back. It's time to end him and the Miz. It ran its course. I don't know how long Miz will be out for, but it's time to have them turn on each other and maybe have a few matches there and let Morrison go on a run. Strap a rocket on his back and let him go. The guy can work. I think he'd be over. He could work as a heel or a face. He's going to be either. He's going to be good at either one.
And he doesn't even need to be in the main event. He could be, at the top of the mid card, and he's perfectly fine. He's one of those guys that you could slot anywhere on the card, and he'll be completely fine. Just the spot with the Miz, it's just not cutting it. It's not 2008, 2009 anymore. Let's just move on and try to do something with Morrison. Money in the Bank could be exactly that, but it's not going to happen. I want it to happen, though.
You know what? And they were entertaining during the pandemic, and I don't even did Morrison actually get to wrestle in front of fans since he was back? He did, because he was eliminated by Brock in the Rumble.
Yeah, because he returned when Miz and The Fiend were doing their little feud. So he got like a match or two in, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, it's time to let him do his own thing. Maybe that's why they haven't done it yet. I don't know. Sometimes when I think like, oh, this might be why, and it makes sense, then that's not why. But but yeah, I would love it to be Morrison. But like I said, I think it's going to be Seth. I kind of think Big E makes a little more sense, because if Seth won it, he's going to cash in that night, or he's going to try to cash in that night. Big E, I could see him winning it and holding on to it.
Right.
So unless Seth has a failed attempt at trying to cash in.
That's kind of the reason why I want Big E to win, because Money in the Bank cannot get another screwy kind of a year. It's happened since 2018 now that it's just been, 2017. Corbin, Strowman, Lesnar, and Otis. 4 years in a row that there has been just an abysmal use of Money in the Bank, either a failed cash in, swapping users, doing a quick cash in. Brock Lesnar wasn't even in the match. You need something to bring back the credibility of Money in the Bank if you can at this point. And if it's going to be anyone, it'll probably be Big E, because kind of like what you said, if Seth Rollins wins it, it's probably the ideal place for him to do a cash-in / failed cash-in on Roman versus Edge, because then that would lead to Edge versus Seth. You just can't, you could do that without the Money in the Bank and lead that to Seth versus Edge. There's no reason to waste your Money in the Bank again. So that's why I'm kind of hoping for Big E, because I know that they'll drag it out a little bit, and they could have some fun with Big E as the Money in the Bank holder.
That's awesome. That's a good point. He would be entertaining with it, and if who knows with the draft after SmackDown, after SummerSlam, where he's going to even wind up, if he'll be back with New Day, or if they'll be together. So it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to the pay-per-view. Fans are back. That's the story of the weekend. I'm looking forward to seeing how they react to everything. I'm looking forward to Raw. So I think it's going to be a good pay-per-view. I think they're not going to let us down. And any other closing thoughts on Money in the Bank?
I mean, I think really they've done a pretty good job with the build. I will give them that. Some of these matches I'm looking forward to, some of them I'm not. I think the main matches that people would want to look forward to, Money in the Banks, Edge versus Roman, Kofi versus Bobby, I think they've done a good job in hyping those matches and building them up. So it is definitely a hyped up pay-per-view, and I'm looking forward to it, really just to see the fans interact with what's going on. Do you think we're going to get any surprises? I hear a lot about big names coming back eventually. Do you think we're going to get any this weekend?
I don't think it'll be on Money in the Bank, but I'm looking forward to Monday night. We saw them bring back Finn Balor to get a pop tonight on SmackDown, or last night, depending on when you're watching this. I think there'll be. I'm thinking we'll see Becky for sure on Monday, and then it might be whoever's going to be challenging Lashley on Monday also. Not Goldberg, please.
Not Bill. Please do not bring Bill out. But yeah, I gotta agree with you. I think we already got our surprise with Finn, so I don't think they're gonna throw all their eggs in one basket for now. And they'll kind of spread the wealth a little bit. They'll eventually bring back Cena. I think they're thinking about doing it. I've heard next week on SmackDown. I kind of want to see it at Money in the Bank. I don't think it's going to happen, but you could easily just do a little thing with maybe Seth, Roman, and the Usos are beating down Edge, and here comes John Cena at the end of the pay-per-view, and they kind of raise hands or whatever. Not the ideal way to end off the pay-per-view, but it would be cool though. But yeah, I mean, I think they'll wait on it. I don't expect many surprises, if any, this weekend. But I think it'll be a fun show overall. There's nothing really much to say about it besides just, I'm looking forward to the fans coming back.
I'm same with you. Tell everybody where they can find you, Anthony.
Yes, OG. The fans at the Turnbuckle Tavern, thank you for turning your attention to the Titantron. If you want to do so more often, you can go ahead and follow me at the Titantron Podcast on Instagram, as well as at _Titantron over on Twitter. I have my own podcast, of course, the Titantron Podcast. That would be weird if I didn't. Over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you can find your podcast, as well as on YouTube. You can go ahead and subscribe to me and leave me some likes, because that definitely helps out. Go ahead. I have some merch that you can buy at the Titantron Podcast.creator-spring.com, as well as my WPC 50 project. If you want to get involved, go ahead and DM me on Twitter or Instagram, and I will tell you how to get involved. Basically, you just got to submit your top 10 wrestlers of all time if you are a wrestling podcaster like me and the OG Fig Kid are, and it'll be a fun project. We already have about 20-ish names involved. Tom, I am waiting for your list, and I'm looking forward to seeing it, as well as the rest of the Turnbuckle Tavern. I know you're watching, and I'm looking forward to getting this project going.
Yeah, you'll have my list this weekend, so
I'm looking forward to it. Eva Marie, fun. Number 1.
Hey, nobody wants to see less of her. So. Well, I guess maybe some people do. I don't mind her.
Same.
Follow me, Twitter and Instagram, the OG Fig Kid. Follow, like, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the bell. Be notified when we go live. Our new videos are up. Turnbuckle Tavern on Twitter, Turnbuckle Tavern on Instagram, Turnbuckle Tavern, TheTurnbuckleTavern.com for all of your links. Find all of our podcasts there. That's it for now, guys. Until next time. That's it. Peace.